In our work in the world of digital procurement supply chain, the biggest area of demand that we see is typically for salespeople for the software vendors who are offering solutions to the procurement and supply chain community. And I've been thinking about the changes that took place in the market last year and the impact they've had in the way sales leaders are prioritising certain skills when they're hiring into their teams. And I thought I'd share some of that intelligence with you. So first of all, we'll talk about the change in the market, and then we'll look at how that's impacted the skills that are being prioritised by sales leaders and why they're doing that. So first of all, last year, I think the general perception was that the market moved a little bit away from the big, lengthy, often very costly implementations of full suite platforms and more towards solving specific business problems or creating particular opportunities with either a best of breed tool or a module from one of those broader platforms. And that changed the emphasis of the sell. That meant that salespeople were then having to really educate and evangelize about the capability of their solutions, convince procurement and supply chain leaders as to why they might invest in this particular tool. And then once they got their head turned with what it could achieve, then it's about building a meaningful use case, a realistic case for investment, and realizing what that return on investment could look like and how you actually quantify it. So that's all very much a value-based sell that the salespeople were having to engage in. So navigating a lengthy, often 9 to 12 month complex sales cycle in the world of procurement and supply chain, and people who do that job are probably nodding their head about the complexity of that supply chain right now. That became a very, very desirable skill that we were really asked to prioritize, not only in the sense of navigating that sell, but dealing with the complexity of it. And what was complex about it? Well, for example, if you're convincing an audience that they need to invest in a solution that they hadn't previously thought about, well, then you're going to have to build a fairly big audience in the organization. So rather than just focusing on a CPO, for example, and then waiting later in the process, 9 months in, and all of a sudden the CPO brings in various other stakeholders, which could be blockers, certainly will probably delay the process. The best sales leaders are saying to me, I want somebody who understands that and is rooting out, finding those people early on in the sales process to head off any objections and build that audience as quickly as possible to accelerate that sales process and increase the probability of success. Similarly, my best people are coaching their prospects to build that business case for the investment, to understand what the return on investment looks like and demonstrating the value they can get by perhaps using case studies from other customers. And so that's certainly something we've also seen in pre-sales and some customer success roles as well. So sales leaders are really starting to prioritize these skills. And yes, they've always been important, and the best salespeople will say, well, I've been doing that for years. Of course you have. But actually, this is what we're asking to find more of, that much more consultative style, much more credible, and building long-term relationships that understand that there's a big decision to be made, big cost to be invested, and people are having to make sure they can justify that investment. So if this is resonating with you, if you are one of those people that have got that capability, you think about coming to the market, of course I'd love to hear from you because your skills are in demand. And if you're a sales leader who's having difficulty finding that sort of skill set, or these are the challenges that you're finding in your business, then of course we'd love to hear from you as well, because if you're having difficulty finding that talent, there's only one solution, and you know what it is. Have to get in touch with me via LinkedIn or get my contact details on everydaley.com. I'd love to hear from you. Hope you found it useful. More to follow in the next few weeks. Thank you.